Hey guys, before you watch this video, this is going to be just a ramble that I'm going to be doing. Or I ramble for 30 minutes about miscellaneous things, get sidetracked, go on tangents and stuff. And if that's like the stuff you like to listen to, while you're eating your ramen behind your computer screen, then congrats, enjoy yourself. I'm playing TF2 jump maps. Hey guys, this is FuzzBuzz00, and right now I'm showing something a little bit different. It's still Team Fortress 2, but these are a couple of jump maps that I just happened to record while I was, jumping. I just felt like going on a jump map on Team Fortress 2 and jumping around. And that's kind of what I've been gravitating towards lately when I'm just stressed out or just want to kick back and relax and stuff. I mean, generally video games are supposed to be a form of kickback, but they're not always the most relaxing thing. For an example, I've started playing a lot of NBA 2K13 lately. My roommate bought it, and we played it a little bit over the winter, but mostly we played Mario, New Super Mario Brothers Wii or something like that. One of those side-scrolling ones, which I kind of like platforming games, which is kind of, I guess, why I find jump maps to be just so relaxing, even though it's potentially one of the most chaotic things. All you hear are explosions and the soldier going, "Rah, rah," like that. That's all you hear. But, it's forgiving. I mean, NBA 2K13 is, if you've played it, in general, I'm horrible at sports games. But because of my recently developed, or I guess rekindled, love for basketball, I've just started to play the game so I can just kind of understand the players a lot more. I'm just having a ton of fun playing as Paul George with the Pacers and things like that. But yeah, jump maps. That's what I do to kind of de-stress when things get kind of out of hand. And things have been getting out of hand lately. I mean, I'm just going to go on a little bit of a ramble rant. I have plenty of footage to go on here. But when I was younger, and I don't mean like a little boy, I mean just a few years ago, I was kind of frustrated that the reason I started this channel is because I did a lot of wildly unproductive things. I mean, it's okay to do that occasionally and, be unproductive, but not as much as I was. I mean, I play a lot of video games, and for as long as I remember, I've always played video games. And it's kind of funny, when I moved into my apartment last year in September, not the one I'm living in now, but the one before, that was the first thing that my roommates picked up about me. It's like, wow, you play a lot of games on your computer. And this is when I was well into the channel, my YouTube channel, and making LPs and other videos and stuff. But there's yeah, you play a lot of video games. And when people that you've never met before, it's not like I knew these guys before I started living with them. It just kind of fell into place. And if that's one of the first things they notice about you, that's not what I wanted people to notice about me first. I mean, I don't know, I am usually just pretty bad at meeting new people. I mean, once I get to know someone, I have no problem socializing with them at all. But going out to meet new people has always been a hard thing for me, just because I carry a lot of experiences around where, first impressions are very, very important, and I've never forgotten that. So I always try and make a very good first impression, and because of that, it makes me nervous to kind of actually go out and do it. To put it in perspective, when you can rehearse, a scene over and over and over again, with if you're into acting, you can rehearse a scene over and over again with your fellow actors and do it again and again and again. But eventually you are going to have to go in front of that audience and perform for them, and that's not something you can really simulate. It's just something you have to deal with. And the way I deal with it is pretty hit and miss. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. For that reason, I become very nervous with meeting new people. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, like so a couple years ago, I was just obsessed about how like wildly unproductive I was being with the amount of games I was playing. So I just kind of made these like promises to myself. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna start like working on doing something different. I got into parkour. I started teaching myself to play guitar. If you remember in my apartment tour, I actually showed you I have two guitars, one acoustic, one electric. I haven't played as much lately, but I did pretty much teach myself how to play. I asked a couple of friends, who did play guitar, and one of my best friends, Farhad, he's like, oh yeah, there's this program, Guitar Pro, which is how I learned to play a whole bunch of my songs, and it's a really good, useful tool for anyone who wants to learn to play guitar or any instrument, really, but mainly guitar because it was designed for that. Because there's people who make like covers of the songs in this program, and it actually plays it through. It's a lot like Mario Paint, if any of you guys have seen that, except it's a lot better. It sounds a lot more natural. You can have multiple like actual instrument tracks, and it does sound synthetic to a degree, but it also sounds pretty real, and you know what it should sound like when you actually play it. I have zero knowledge of music theory. I know like a couple chords at the top of my mind, and I just combine them at will. And sometimes I just play guitar and do things just to relax. I mean, what I actually do besides relaxing is I actually go to school and pursuing a degree in chemical engineering. Right now going into my 4th year, which for most people is their final, but I'm going into 5 years, likely. Maybe even a little more than that, which is embarrassing. But it still puts me head and shoulders above a majority of the population. What was I even... I'm just like jumping from one topic to another, but that's why I kind of like started this channel. I was like, if I'm going to be playing so many video games, I might as well do something with them and actually like direct that energy, if only a little bit. And so now here I am with the Let's Play channel and other things. And there's a lot of activities and creative outlets that I wanted to pursue because chemical engineering, it's very math and science heavy, and math and science is pretty like cut in stone. I mean, with chemical engineering, there's like a degree of creativity where there's like, multiple solutions to a single problem, but it still beckons, like it still matters that, there is a problem and there is a solution, and your goal is to find that solution. And there's a whole bunch of things that don't work. With stuff that's more creative, there's not really anything that absolutely doesn't work. It's just stuff you like and stuff you don't. And so that's what I've been trying to do for years now. I've been trying to get into art a little bit, but and I've taken classes regarding these things. I've taken art theory classes, like not like history of art, like all these movements and stuff, but like actually how to draw and stuff. And I'm horrible at it. I have very poor motor control in my fingers, and overall I'm a very clumsy and awkward person. I think I probably could do a little bit better with like sculpting or something like that than with drawing, but sculpting, you need materials and stuff, and you have to kind of know what you want to make, and that's generally not me. I never know exactly what I want to do. I just want to do something and put effort into it, and like I said, direct that energy towards something productive and something that I can actually be proud of. And this channel is kind of like that. I'm just like impressed by myself for having made so much videos, and also a little bit disgusted because I've made 100 some odd videos, and that's not nearly as many as a whole bunch of other people on YouTube. But like for me, it's just like, wow, you've played that many video games, and what else have you done, really? Because I don't know, I have a little bit of an obsession with being distinguished, being like unique, and being ahead. I have like a wannabe superiority complex, if that even exists. Yeah, so like I'm always like self-reflecting about like, how can I do things better? Or more often it's more like, what am I doing wrong? that I can fix. And that kind of segues, I'm actually connecting it to the video that you're watching. You'll see I'm actually including a lot of clips here where I'm just failing over and over again. I'm probably going to try and I'm not actually watching the video, nor do I know what order the clips are going to be in or how long it's going to be, but it's going to be long enough. But one of these jumps, I tried for a long time. It felt like at least 10, 15 minutes of trying the same jump. And, it was kind of relaxing because very few things in real life are as forgiving as TF2 jumping, rocket jumping. Because, with a rocket jump map, I'm here on an actual jump server. I didn't just download a jump map and jumping around on my own. So that I have occasionally run into other people, and it's kind of like a bonding struggle towards we got to just make this jump, and it's good. I like jump maps because you can actually see yourself getting better, because if you mess up, you don't have to go back or go through an entire introduction part again. It just sets you back where you messed up and tells you, here, try it again. You mess up, here, try it again. And and if you fail, there's no one that you're really letting down. And Team Fortress 2 generally is a very lighthearted, casual game in my opinion, unless you're talking about lobbies and actual UGC competitive matches. But jumping, it's more your successes is just you're actually like I said, you're feeling yourself becoming better, and you can feel good about that. But if you're not becoming better, you can just step out and you're not letting anyone down. It's not your failures have caused your entire team to lose the match, and you hear the announcer, "You failed!" And then you hear people booing you. That can be discouraging at times, And so whenever I fail at something, I'm pretty stressed out, I go on TF2 jump maps. For example, right now uploading a Kingdom Hearts 2 final mix video. I think this is part 3, which I've had recorded for a while. It just has been very hard to actually put it back together. I mean, for those of you who are thinking about recording your own gameplays or things like that, or doing commentaries or let's plays or anything like that, one thing I could tell you from experience of doing both, video game on the computer, just recording my games, and actual live videos where I used a video camera, and I've actually worked with small high school production teams. The easiest part is the filming. It's easy to get the footage of the game, especially if it's a game that you're decent at. All you have to do is find a good program, all right, hit the record button, and play the game. That's the easy part. The hard part is actually commentating and editing it. And it's not even the hardest thing in the world. It's just that so much can go wrong, and there's so much attention to detail that a whole bunch of people don't really notice if you do it, but they definitely notice if you don't. One thing is definitely relative audio levels. I remember when I started this channel, I started playing Plants vs. Zombies, and I went back and watched one of those videos because someone happened to comment on it after I'd made a whole bunch of other videos after I finished Plants vs. Zombies, and I was listening and I'm like, dude, this is awful. Because back then I was recording using Fraps, and I was recording my voice using Fraps as well, and I wasn't using my Blue Yeti microphone. I was using this cheap little dinky headset, and it was horrendous. I mean, the gameplay itself was okay. If you had just muted my voice and just watched me play, it would have been fine. I do decently at that game, but actually, my voice was so low compared to the game, I couldn't even hear myself. I didn't even remember what I was saying, and I was the one who said it. So then I had to download an external audio program, and I had to look all this stuff up. A lot of people suggested Audacity because it's free, it's convenient, it works sometimes, but then just recently you saw that it doesn't work anymore. So now I'm using Adobe Audition CS5, which is excellent. It's very, very good. But then, all these setbacks, when you find out that something doesn't work and you have to search around the internet for something else that does work, and especially like very little tiny things. I remember one of my Super Metroid videos, I was kind of describing a pathway that you have to take, and I had this little white square, this little white square that was going around the map of Super Metroid, and it would be going like down, across, up, and to the left or something like that. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to just kind of like direct your eyes towards where that white dot was. And you think it wouldn't be so hard. You'd say like, okay, just put a white dot in there. You can make a white square using Photoshop and then put it in there and then just move it around the screen. It's not... Well, first of all, Photoshop wasn't working at the time because I made that video during when I just transitioned my operating system to my solid state drive. So what I had to do instead is that white dot is actually a period. It was an actual like text, because sometimes I put text on top of the video, so that's what I did. I used a period. I made it a small font, and I just manipulated its movement around the screen, and it was only like a few seconds of footage, and that took so long. And editing has been one of my least favorite things to do, and ironically, it's the most important thing. I really like making videos, or more specifically, my favorite thing to do creatively is act, and that's most of what I've done. Like even in my life, I mean, I've always loved acting, not just like for like plays and movies, but also just I love playing a part. There's been one time where I've actually like pretended to be gay, which is shameful, but it's because I was in a situation where there was a lot of women that I was not interested in, and I had to do another performance, a dance performance, and after a dance performance, like these certain dance performances that I do, I often get a lot of pseudo-sexual comments made about me. And, at this particular performance, is a private performance, is at a wedding, and I was just like looking at everyone enjoying this, and all like the most outgoing people were people who were thoroughly unattractive to me. So I just pretended to be gay, and I pulled it off easy. And then other times, I'm just a compulsive liar too. I just love making up stories, and just one such story that I've made up that to this day, certain people actually believe that this happened, which blows my mind. I guess I'm just that convincing. Is that I convinced people that I was attacked by a baby mountain lion. One of the biggest lies of my life. I mean, it's kind of like one of the biggest white lies of my life, because it doesn't really affect anything. It's not like someone says, people don't get attacked by lions every day. I said that I was going on a camping trip, and camping trip up in the mountains with some family, some extended family, a bunch of people that, we all planned this together, some cousins, and we had maybe 4, 5, or 6 families all together. And we just decided to go up and, got a bunch of tents and food, and we went up to the mountains and we camped there for a few days. And, I was hanging out with some cousins, and basically the way we had the girls' tents and the guys' tents separate. And there was like this dark pathway in between them. And, most of the cousins I hang out with, the ones who were my age, were all the girls. So most of the time I'd be around the women's tent, and no one really minded. I was young at the time. I was like in maybe 5th or 6th grade. So nothing too scandalous or whatever. Not that it should be scandalous anyway. But that's an argument for another time. But yeah, that much is true. This is like actual true part, and that's actually what I would include in the story. But I never really include all the minor details. The more details you include, the harder it is to keep up an act. Look at me giving advice about how to lie to people. But this is a pretty funny story because I was just hanging out there. It was getting pretty dark, So then I decided, like, I should go back to the other tents because I was afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark, but just like afraid of being in the dark alone because for obvious reasons. You're in the middle of a forest. I'd watched a lot of horror movies and, there's animals and things that could come out. So I decided, and I had to head back on my own. I wasn't going to tell like some girls to come, hey, can you come with me and escort me to my tent? No. Even at that age, I knew what it was to be, to have cojones. So I, head back and I decided to, instead of, basically the women's and guys' tents weren't like too close together. They're actually at separate campsites. And all the campsites were connected by this road. But you can also, the shorter way to get from one campsite to another is actually just cut through the forest from where their tents were to where our tents were. And I felt like doing that because I didn't want it to get too dark. And it was already pretty dark, which would make it a bad idea to go through like, forest where you could trip on stuff. And sure enough, I did. I tripped on a log and like fell into a bush. And I was wearing shorts, so my left shin got scraped in such a way that there were like 3 vertical scratches, like pretty much almost going from my knee to my ankle, and I was still young before I hit puberty, so I still didn't have any hair on my legs or like any really thick hair like I do now. And so it got like really long cuts that just started bleeding. So then I got myself patched up. I didn't really come up with anything at the time, but I went home. The camping trip was over, and I went home and I went to school. And then I was like, I had this mischievous grin on my face going to school, and everyone's like, "Well, what's so funny?" And then I just roll up my pant leg. My school had uniforms, so we had to wear pants. But I'd roll up my pant leg and show like these 3 gnarly looking scabs on my shin, and I'd just be like, "Hey, look at this, like these cuts I got." And I'm like, "Whoa, what happened to you?" And then just immediately I'm just like, I got attacked by a mountain lion during my camping trip. Everyone knew I was going camping, so everyone's just like, "Whoa, you got attacked by a mountain lion?" Now, everyone at school who I talked to was also my age, so they were obviously pretty easy to fool. But I stuck to the story to this day. That was back when I was maybe like 10 or 11, and now I am going to be 21 in less than a week. So, for almost 10 years I've kept this facade up, and I've told like my new friends too, like one time I just got attacked by a mountain lion, and like they didn't really believe me, or like they did, but like it didn't really matter. Like I said, I don't lie about truly important things. I just think that this is pretty funny story and something that I'd love to tell to more and more people. But cat's out of the bag now for anyone who's watching this, and I told that to. Yeah, I lied. I hope you didn't believe me. And please forgive me for lying to you. And yeah, but that's what I like to do. I really liked acting, and I knew that from a very young age, and I knew I wanted to pursue something like that. I didn't try and make it a career for various reasons. I might get into those later, but I always tried and pursued it as a hobby. I played around with a video camera a lot in high school. Whenever, you have to do projects for classes and stuff, I always tried to make them video projects. And I just realized my window's open, and all the neighbors probably think I'm insane. What was I saying? Oh yeah, like I'd always try and make like video projects, and and I took a lot of classes, or not a lot, but I took a history of motion pictures class. I took a screenwriting class, but like all of it was like stuff that was like, I'm not really into this as much. I wasn't into the writing as much as I was into the acting, nor was I into like, cinematic techniques, but all that actually comes all together when you actually make a finished product that you can be proud of. And I kind of want to go back to that because, when you make a movie, even if it's like only like 10 minutes long, that's pretty darn long, and that usually takes weeks to formulate. And the actual process is very adventurous. You know, the acting itself, you get to be whoever you want to be. And I like put myself through a lot of this like effort. You know, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to become a better filmer. So I want to like learn new cinematic techniques, and I want to make better movies. So I like learn about like characterization and how to like write better characters in movies, and work on my editing skills. That's actually why I started doing LPs, is because I wanted to just get familiarized with my editing software, Sony Vegas, just so I can make more extravagant and over the top things. But eventually I found that like I put way too much on my plate. I need to slow down, you know, because like, you know, oh yeah, I want to be better at guitar, I want to be better at writing, I want to be better at filming, I want to be better at acting, and I have all my engineering stuff to go through, and also like I want to read a whole bunch of books, and I want to get involved politically, and I want to work out, and all this time it's Ramadan and I can't eat all day. My throat already is feeling pretty parched. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta relax and go on a Team Fortress 2 jump map. This has been a very, very long ramble with very, very boring gameplay in the background. I mean, I honestly don't like watching jump videos of people failing. Like, even like while I was recording these jump videos, it wasn't something I recorded live. I actually just said, hey, let's make a demo of this, whatever happens, and I'll just save a demo. If it doesn't work out, then I'll delete it. And I was just like, you know what, I might be able to use this for something. And look at this, I'm using it now. And I just thought I'd just put all that out there. The main reason why I'm doing all these videos is because in real life, I just have a hard time socializing with people. I know right now, like in my class, I'm struggling in my organic chemistry class, and one of the best ways to deal with it, struggling is just, study with someone else. You know, that gives you a different perspective, and I'm always like a firm believer of like, something doesn't work. If at first you don't succeed, try again. But eventually you should give up because it's obviously not working out. You should try and approach it from a different angle. This is what I've always told people. I used to teach chemistry at my junior college, or I used to be like a TA sort of person, but I'd help students understand it by like attacking the concept from different angles, using like, analogies and stuff. But yeah, and I honestly have a hard time applying that principle to myself, where I can't just like jump out there and go out there and meet new people. I tried. When I first got into my university, I went to my orientation. I tried to just meet a whole bunch of people, but people are more, I don't know, I'm not really the most compelling person. I'm not really good at introducing myself. I don't like talking about fluffy stuff. I don't like saying like, hey, how are you? My name is this. My name is Fuzzbuzz, and I like, my major is chemical engineering, and I am a third year student. I don't like those conversations. I really like bonding with people under like activities, which is what I want to do. I want to bond with people, like make videos with them, make movies, and do great things, and just, I guess making a video about it, rambling about it, and putting it on the internet for people to watch and just like call you out on it. Like, I'm making this promise that like, the last time I did like a rambling video like this, I said, okay, I will make 5 videos before I move to like my new apartment. And I did. Like, I delivered on that. When I make like a stated intention promise, I usually deliver on it. So I'll try and do that again, but I don't really know what I want to promise myself. I mean, I want to promise myself that I would meet new people, and I have already. I mean, I've managed to do it over a course of a year, but I want to make a push towards making movies again, because I really enjoyed it. That's like my favorite thing to do, even though that's not what I'm doing as like planning on doing as a job or anything, but I need to make some sort of concrete goal Now, it's a little too early for that. So I'll just try and make more videos. I'm definitely going to make more Kingdom Hearts videos, and they are going to be post-commentated, because post-commentating is always easier than live commentating for two reasons. Number one, it's easier to play the game when you're not focusing on being entertaining other than playing the game. And number two, if the recording is botched or something, I won't have to play through that same part over again. It's complicated and I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you understand. Well, anyway, for those of you who actually bothered to listen to this all the way through, thank you. This is more of a personal thing. You don't really have to hear it. I guess that would have been nice to put in the beginning. So I will say that right now.